welcome to Mark Emmy Golf. So today we are covering the basic pitch shot. So we're trying to get rid of that fat and thin shot, get a consistent strike, and then we can achieve that distance control, and then we can start lowering those scores. So right, subscribe, make sure you give it a good thumbs up, send all the comments through. Let's get stuck in. So first of all, we're going to cover that setup, right? So the setup, crucial in any golf shot. So we're going to start with the width of the stance first. So I would go for hip width apart, just to enable yourself to get a little bit of rotation in the hips. Don't need a tremendous amount in this shot, but we don't want to get trapped, don't want to get stuck. So the next thing that could get stuck is the position of our feet, which is vitally important, as in the angle of our feet. So the right foot we angle out just slightly, so that just enables no tightness in the hip flexors. And then the lead foot, if your foot was pointing at 12 o'clock, I would go 2 digits left of that 12 o'clock. So that opens up that lead hip. And rather than being parallel, I would just aim the feet just slightly to the left. So if the target was 12 o'clock, you're looking at 11 o'clock. So the last thing we want is to get trapped as we're trying to get through that shot. Got the ball position in the middle. We're looking for a mid-trajectory shot, plenty of spin and good contact, good quality strike. So we've got the ball in the middle, so that's in between our heels. Always look at the heels rather than the toes in regards to your ball position, and then have the club in line with the inside of your left thigh. Don't push those hands too far forward. That puts the leading edge into play too much, and when you come through to strike the ball, unless you're extremely accurate, you're going to dig it into the ground. Next bit is the chest. So we're trying to get the sternum so it's slightly past the ball. So you use the clock face again, so you're 1 digit left of the ball. So the sternum is in front. That puts the low point past the ball. So then that helps that angle attack down on the shot. So that's your setup. Right, let's move into the execution of the shot and make sure we're pivoting the right way, which is massively important in getting good contact to avoid that fat and thin. Right, so we've got our setup in place, we've got our stance, got our open feet, got our chest past the ball. Now it's how you pivot, how you move. Massively important in this shot to get that consistent strike. So the main thing that goes wrong when trying to execute this shot is that people get stuck behind the ball. So as soon as you're behind the ball, you've got potential to catch the ground slightly, or if you come up a little bit too much, the leading edge will then hit into the middle of the ball, so that will catch the middle of the ball as you go back. Or if you push the pelvis too far forward and get the chest back, you've got too much side bend, you can catch the ground, fat or thin, which is then obviously going to cause massive inconsistencies with the distance control, and it gets very confusing to try and work in your distance control, which is vital to get the best out of this shot and really get scoring. So the strike is the key thing, and how you move achieves that. So let's say, so we've got the setup, like I said, ball in the middle, hip width apart with the stance, right foot slightly angled, left foot slightly more angled, and feet aiming a little bit to the left, so we're not going to get trapped on it. So you're basically trying to get stacked, you're trying to get stacked over the top of the ball. And I'll use Sportsbox at the end, which is a fantastic 3D app, to show you what I mean by the stacked. So you've got your forehead, so you can use your nose if you want, you've got your buttons, your sternum on your polo shirt, and you've got your belt buckle, so your middle of your pelvis. So you're trying to get those three stacked on top of each other as much as you can. So you don't want to overthink this too much, because suddenly it can get extremely complicated. There's a lot of feel in the shot. So the bit that you're trying to avoid is when you take the club away, is to get back behind the ball. So a tour player, as they swing back, will move slightly towards the target as they're getting around waist height. So they've already moved towards the target, and it's making sure that the pelvis hasn't gone out on its own. As soon as the pelvis goes out, leads too much, you get that side bend, and then that's when you will hit the floor. So you're just trying to get that stacked sensation. And when you haven't had that before, you feel there's a lot more pressure on that lead foot, more than usual, where if you tilt in this way, the pressure will go back to the back foot. So that's a good indication. So when you're doing that backswing, just feel that pressure increase on that lead leg, and feeling you're leading with the top rather than shoving the pelvis through, and the knees will be moving towards the target. Then you're just trying to maintain that movement all the way through. So as you're coming down to impact, ideally you would have gone slightly further forward again. That will give you a nice angle of attack, good quality strike, pop the ball up, like I said, a mid trajectory, good quality strike, and get some spin on it. So that's what we're looking for. We're not trying to do a mini normal shot, so we're not looking necessarily get behind the ball, drive and lift, so there's no lift in this shot. We're very much pivoting towards the target to achieve that strike. So if your fault, what you do in your normal swing will still potentially appear in this shot. So it's a very good shot to work on in regards to general technique and if there's a link to what you do. So in a bad swing, I would stand up slightly. So that's a bad rotation in the neck. So that's something I'm working on. So in this shot, I could be prone to doing that as well. So I'm trying to maintain that posture, move forward onto that lead leg. So get yourself set, make sure you've got your setup, have that intent of what length of swing you're going to use. So I'm thinking I'm going to swing it just above waist height. I'm 50 yards away from the target, trying to carry it 40 yards. So my 9 o'clock or just above waist height, if I'm referring to the hands, is that 40-yard mark. So nice acceleration through the ball. So get myself set, look at the target. Make sure you look at the target nice and slowly. Have that intent of where you're going to hit it. That gives you that application, good attitude, and you'll achieve the shot. So at the target, got your set, have another look, nice slow look, back to the ball. As you swing back, you'll move forward, maintain that, and you'll get a good quality strike on the ball. So now, as you can see in the screen, there's the three different moves I was talking about. So you've got set up, and then you move forward, and then you move forward again, maintaining that position. So the bit that you're trying to avoid is staying behind the ball. If you get behind the ball, then you're in big trouble. That fat and fin comes in. Bit that you want to make sure is that you've got that intent and you've picked out that shot, what you're going to hit. Think, right, this is what I want to do, and then it's executed. So if you then are doing the right intent, but it's not quite right for the shot, at least you can stay nice and positive. Think, right, I achieved the shot, I just didn't quite pick the right one. Any questions or comments, please send them through. Give us a good thumbs up, and I'll see you soon.